there, Snuggly Poo. So you wanted power, you wanted to bend reality to see the future, and you wanted to be free of the fate that befalls your psyker peers in the Imperium of Man. So you thought, hey, the best way to do that is to sell your soul to the Chaos God of Lies, Schemes, and Arbitrary Mutation. Congratulations! Woohoo! You played yourself, you sick, sad, strange little man. Let's say you didn't even know what this great being truly looks like. If you did, you wouldn't have gone through, but here we are. Your new patron, Tzeentch, the changer of ways, is many things. A master of fate, the god of magic, the universe's worst micromanager. He's that and way more, but one thing he's definitely not is generous. You don't get power for free. At the cost of everything that made you human, you actually managed to get your hands on that mind-melting, reality-sundering ability that you always wanted. And that should be good for you, right, Boo? Well, guess what? Everything comes at a price when you're dealing with the dangerous beings of the warp. You're a Tzeentchian sorcerer now, which means your life is one long, miserable chess match where every move is 3 steps forward and 10 backward. And your master has schemes within schemes within schemes. It's like an intergalactic, universe-spanning version of one of those little Russian dolls. And you know, it's kind of a lot like prison, where you don't want to sleep with your mouth open and your allies are just waiting to put a shiv in your back. Okay, I guess prison is kind of a bad comparison. Like, your hands could literally turn into tentacles at any given moment. All of that because you simply wanted power from this guy. And it's not like fun tentacles either, it's like gross tentacles. It's like watching your favorite shows on Disney+. You don't even get it for a reasonable price, and what you've actually signed up for is an endless spiral of paranoia, mutation, and cosmic trolling. And the best part, you'll never know if this was your choice if you were just another pawn in a plan so convoluted even you don't understand it. So let's go through why you've just made the biggest mistake of your miserable widow psyker wife. You know, your first problem is knowledge. T-Man grants it freely, yet never completely. You see glimpses of forbidden truths, you hear whispers of cosmic secrets, and you receive prophecies that unravel your understanding of the universe. T-Baller gives you knowledge the way a con artist gives you investment advice, just enough to make you think you're ahead while setting you up for disaster. Yeah, you get cryptic visions, half-truths, and revelations that contradict themselves 5 minutes later. But you, you junkie, you actually think you're getting the good stuff. Only for them to contradict themselves a moment later. It's like that song stuck in your head. You know, you can hear the tunes, but you can't remember the lyrics. Invertebrates, I don't remember how that song goes. It's like every revelation comes with doubt. Every certainty dissolves into a new question. The moment you think you understand something, a new layer unfolds, revealing that you were wrong all along, or even worse, that you were right, but not in the way you thought you was. Everything is just one gigantic conundrum. You can only wing it for so long, naturally. And you know, at first you think, this is just a test, right? A puzzle waiting to be solved. If you just piece the fragments together correctly, if you read between the lines, then you'll uncover the truth, but Big Daddy T-Bone is that big bully who won't stop ruining everything you've worked so hard for. You begin to understand that knowing something doesn't mean you understand it, and understanding something doesn't mean that it's true. Like calculus. Anyway, one day you dream of an ancient ruin that holds the key to your ascension.
Oh boy, I'm gonna be a god!
Or whatever it is that conniving, evil little maniacs like you say. So you run along, you skip, you follow the vision, thinking that you're on the verge of something great. When you arrive, you find that the ruin was never there. Or worse, it was, but somebody else found it first, D-bag. Or maybe you were meant to find it, which is somehow the most terrifying possibility of all. Did T-Daddy lead you here to grant you power, or is this just another part of an unfathomable scheme? Is this a victory, or just another step toward an inevitable downfall that you can't even imagine? So you retrace your steps, trying to understand. Was the vision a trick? Was it a warning? Was it your vision, or were you simply eavesdropping in on a prophecy intended for somebody else? And if so, who was it? And if you turn back now, are you defying fate, or are you playing into it? Every answer brings 10 more questions, and you realize that certainty is a privilege you'll never again experience, and then suddenly you have to poop. It's like playing Minesweeper or Seppuku. You never really know if you're gonna make the right move. Nothing is ever clear. Even your own thoughts betray you. A spell forms in your mind. Ancient, powerful, a reality-tearing incantation. You know that it is perfect. You're smart, you'll figure it out. There's no way an infinitely powerful god is just trying to troll you just for kicks. Right? Well, like any good conspiracy theorist, you start asking questions. It could be the same rodeo after all. Wait a minute, how'd you learn it? Did you study it? Did you dream it? Was it whispered to you by a daemon? Or worse, was it placed there deliberately by something beyond your comprehension? And if so, why? Is this knowledge a weapon for you to wield or a trap waiting to spring the moment you cast it? And the hostile work environment isn't helping out either. Guys, come on, at least try to help out a little bit. Your cabal mates pretend they know more than you. They smirk at your confusion, acting as if they have grasped some deeper truth. But you see through their posturing, it's all just a silly bluff. They're just lost, perhaps even more so. A sorcerer who truly believes they understand T-Dog is the most dangerous kind of fool, and fools are always the first to be sacrificed. Books. You have to love them. The smell, the feel. Ah, damn. It's the Lord of Changes and Magic. Of course, everything's gonna have to be a major overkill. The books are a little different. They're sentient, mocking, and ever-shifting. You study the grimoires for hours, poring over pages filled with ancient glyphs, only for the text to change when you look away. Sometimes, the words, they whisper to you. And then sometimes, they scream. The jerk faces, they'd have anybody freaked out, but that's the price you pay for power. You trace lines of arcane script with your finger, only to realize the words have rewritten themselves mid-sentence. Were they always this way? Is the book correcting itself? Or is it correcting you? Or is it just being difficult for no reason whatsoever you don't even know anymore? One day, a book reveals an ancient secret so profound that your heart races with excitement. The next day, the same book laughs at you, the text rearranging itself into a cruel joke at your expense. Was it ever true? Were you ever meant to know it? Did you even read it correctly? Or did the book simply decide you weren't worthy of the real answer? You begin to doubt your own memories. You recall learning something, a vital piece of knowledge, but was that yesterday? A century ago? Or was it something you merely dreamed, or was it just indigestion at 3 a.m.? It's like Guy Pearce in that one Christopher Nolan movie. Everything is just way too confusing. The closer you think you are to understanding Big Daddy T's design, the further away it slips. You've got no idea if this is punishment, reward, or just another silly experiment. Tzeentch greatest gift is knowledge, but it's also his greatest curse. You wanted wisdom, you wanted understanding, now you're gonna spend eternity chasing it, knowing full well that you're never ever gonna catch it. You're like a dog chasing a wheel on a car. You don't know what's gonna happen when you get there, but the chase is on. And just when you thought the dementia and the schizophrenia was enough, you've got to confront another sad side effect that comes with working under your current boss. Being a psyker is already bad enough that your brain is an open invitation for demons to turn you into a gibbering meat puppet, but being a Tzeentchian psyker is so much worse. The warp doesn't just influence you, it remodels you. The changes. It starts small. A few extra eyes, maybe a voice that echoes when you speak. Manageable, cool, right? And then your fingers begin elongating, twisting together, and you're like, hell yeah, tentacles, woohoo, yeah! Then it turns out to be like a writhing talon, and you're like, I ain't gonna get no action with that. And it's kind of inconvenient, okay. You can't easily open a can of brew, but being the nerd sorcerer thing that you are, you can still grip your staff, and that's enough, right? Well, unfortunately, that crazy boss of yours has more in store for you. One morning, you wake up and your mouth is gone. No lips, no teeth, just smooth, flawless skin where your face used to be. And somehow you can still speak, your words now emanating from your stomach. Or maybe, like a politician, straight from your butt. I mean, think about it. One day you're walking through the halls of your warband stronghold, and the next you're slithering because your legs have fused into something distinctively wrong. You reach out for help, but your fellow sorcerers only watch with mild amusement. They've seen this before, and they know better than to pity you. After all, today it's happening to you, tomorrow it might be them. Oh, but your Chaos Marine brethren, the Thousand Sons, have actually got nothing to worry about, really. They've got their own curse to deal with, even before they came under your boss. Not you, though. Your flesh is T-Buddy's canvas, and he paints in madness. And the best part? This is just a transitional stage. One day, the mutations will overtake your mind, your will, your very sense of self. Your thoughts will dissolve into primal incoherent madness, and you will become exactly what Tzeentch wants you to be, a writhing, ever-shifting chaos spawn, flailing and screeching for an eternity. And then you vote in the midterms, and everything is all good. But you know what, Plum Cake? You're nothing if not resilient, and despite all the nasty things you've been through, you may have convinced yourself that you're special. You think your cunning and power make you invaluable. Aww. But let's get one thing straight. He does not care about you. You're a temporary pawn in a game that neither you nor anybody else actually understands. You tell yourself that your schemes are masterful, that your knowledge sets you apart from the lesser sorcerers who grasp blindly at power. You reassure yourself that your patron favors you, that your victories are a testament to your brilliance. You see pride, you see power, you see a bad mother who ain't gonna take nothing from nobody. What you've got going on there, Buttercup, is pure hubris. Cause the moment you become too powerful, the moment you think you've outplayed everybody else, that's when it happens. Maybe it starts subtly, a little bit of a pre-magiculation here and there. Your spells, once sharp and precise, they begin to shift in unexpected ways that happens to everybody after a certain age, conjuring warp flames in the wrong place, opening up rifts that whisper your name, but it happens to everybody, right? Your visions, they become more vivid, more frequent, but instead of guiding you, they contradict themselves. You make a lot of oopsies, with no one there to clean up the mess. And one day, they show you standing triumphant over your enemies. The next, they reveal your own agonizing demise at the hands of a being that looks just like you. But are these warnings? Are they deceptions? Is there even a difference anymore? It's like you're stuck in some kind of virtual reality. Like you can hardly believe anything that you see anymore. And then, darling, then the betrayals begin. Maybe your most trusted acolyte turns on you at the worst possible moment, whispering secrets of your downfall to a rival who's been waiting for just such an opportunity. Damn those Judases, and not the priests either. Oh, and to make matters worse, that faint muttering in the warp, the one that you've ignored for centuries, finally coalesces into something terrifyingly real, standing behind you, smiling with way too many teeth and asking, "Did you think I wasn't watching you, Pookie?" Or maybe, just maybe, you receive the ultimate T-Diggity-Dog style reward, a chalice of eldritch energy offered to you at the peak of your power. You drink, expecting enlightenment, expecting transformation, expecting greatness. Instead, your legs liquefy into withering tentacles, your voice fractures into simultaneous overlapping screams, and you suddenly understand every language in existence, but only in riddles. Your mind is now a labyrinth with no exit, and somewhere out in the endless layers of the great architect's grand design, something's laughing. You are essentially the tentacle version of Yoda. You don't get to win, ever. You're allowed to think you're winning. Tzeentch gets off on that, like gallons. And just when victory's in your grasp, you'll find out that the entire scenario was a setup for another bigger scheme that you weren't even aware of. You topple a rival, seize their knowledge, ascend to new heights, only to realize that you were meant to do so. That every move, every betrayal, every sacrifice you ever made was not yours, but his. And holy hell, man, that's worse than failure. And it's because if you're succeeding, Big Daddy T wanted you to. And if he wanted you to, then you never had any idea what happens next. One day you could just disappear and nobody would dare speak of what happened to you. In the end, the best thing you can hope for is to live slightly longer than the others before T-Man pulls the rug out from under you and stuffs you with a plug. You're a puppet with delusions of being a puppeteer. A schemer who believes that they're in control, but's actually just another twisted piece of an endless puzzle. Congratulations! Welcome to the never-ending nightmare. So, do you still think being a Sorcerer of Tzeentch was a good idea? Do you still dream of infinite knowledge and ultimate power? You want out of this mess, don't you? Well, sorry buddy, I've got some bad news for you. You're in this forever. There's no way out. The moment you swore yourself to the changer of ways, you sign up for a lifetime of paranoia, body horror, and mind-breaking existential crisis. And the craziest part, you'll never know if this is entirely fate or if it was just a joke for T-Man's amusement. But hey, at least you got some really cool lightning powers before it all fell apart. And honestly, what other option do you have? There's no way you'd want to be soul food for the Emperor of Mankind. I mean, trust me, I wouldn't. And if you thought that was bad, stick around, because our next one is the King of Suck.